one of the things that I really value from interacting with other leads is you say things in a way where I know what you're talking about. I already knew. You didn't actually add knowledge, but you added clarity, and you added a new way of looking at it that made me reappreciate something that may have been dormant in my mind. So, for example, I was reading Braddock's Twitter, and he said, "Value is making you appreciate something, and then making it scarce." Yeah, something like that. And it was like, yeah, that's it. That's what it is. It's just, it was so smart. And he said another one, like, I've been teaching for years and years and years. I've been teaching don't 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 determine boundaries, discover them. And he taught this. And I teach that. That's like one of the main things, because that's like, to me, that's one of the three things guys consistently blow is like, they'd say, this is what I can get away with, this is what I can do. And Bracetti's got this great way of saying it, which is, don't guys spend too much time looking for green lights when they need to be paying attention when they only need to watch out for reds. And I was like, boom,
oh, it's so true. Wow.
Right?
Wow,
Boom.
really
It's great, right? And so that's the thing, is I listening to Push Pull was the same kind of thing. It was like, right! Oh my God! It's brilliant. Even though I know it, do it, it's instinctive at this point, it's still such a great way of rethinking it. So
that's one of the things I like reading y'all and sharing all these ideas, because it helps the seminar. I always think, like, when you're teaching to someone new, I like to picture the knowledge of, like, it's like a ball sitting, like, hovering in space, and you got a flashlight and you're trying to show them that it's a sphere and you need to hit it from 20 different angles. And I think hearing someone else teach the exact same concept gives the listener just new clarity. Like you said, I mean, a lot of this stuff, especially at our level, you rehear, like, yeah, I know that, but like having it said that way gives you so much clarity, and it makes you so much of a better teacher, because we have such a short time with these guys. A lot of times they'll take something and morph it the wrong way and get kind of an unhealthy version of what we mean, because we're not saying it as clear as maybe we should,
Yeah, I mean, and it's also,
that's pretty good.
It's also frustrating, because it's like I find this, I found this. Soul posted a few months back. He posted this thing about how a student's response to Kill like he had posted Kill Beatrice, and then the student responded to it, and I wrote but it's a response that I've had a lot, which is a lot of people take away from that article, this idea that fuck a bunch of bitches, like, love is stupid and no one is special, and just bang a bunch of bitches, which is not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm going for.
Right.
It's refine your understanding of what you want by putting yourself in the path of a lot of girls. But guys, they have an expectation of me, and they have an expectation of love systems. They have an expectation of the material and of the idea of all of this. And so when they kind of they omit that part in their brain. So it's weird.
Right.
When you run up against people's perceptual filters and belief systems and expectations, and like try to navigate those waters, that's why we get paid. So.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying, and it can be really frustrating as a teacher when sometimes I'll read the reviews, or like when I read that your post on that, I knew what you meant. You're giving like the father energy of kind of like, hey, listen, step up, stop being a pussy, get some abundance in your life, and stop falling in love with every girl that touches your hand, and quit, writing your love story of this girl you don't even know yet, and the more girls you date, you build those muscles. That's what I got out of it. But a lot of guys, I could see, if you were new to this, it's like, oh, fuck, bitch, it created like well, I think it's because everybody filters shit through their own, what's going on in their own world. And if they're hurting a little bit, or some girls stung them a little bit, they want to believe that. And so that meaning, they create a new meaning that makes them feel better, even though it's not even close to what we're trying to say,
Yeah. Which is
one of the things that, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's funny, because a lot of what we teach is about, and I honestly, I think I really admire the way you teach it, but I struggle with the idea of, I don't know how to phrase this. We're trying to wake people up, right? A lot of it is, look at the world for what it really is, get something by which you can measure results, and act until you get those results, and then reassess and keep going forward. And one of the things that you teach, I've heard you teach it a few times, is detach from positive and negative, right? Like don't judge, eschew positive and negative self-assessment. Don't think you're the shit.
Right.
Don't think you're shitty. Just think that you are. And in terms of life, I totally agree. In terms of life, I mean, I'm like way behind. But I do wonder about game if radically positive self-assessment isn't effective. But I don't know, because I think one of the things that I know that students and the women who dig me appreciate is that I'm like brutally authentic, and that for better or worse, and that I think those are tied together, but I might have just rambled a little bit. Anyway,
with two parts of that is one is, like I was saying before, is you want to have the self-image of, hey, I'm not better than anyone, but I'm not better or worse than anyone, but you also want to be completely authentic, or that it's for you personally. You're not gonna. You are authentic for better or worse, and that's something that people think you could agree that depending on where you are in this, you can take that different ways. I think there's such an ebb and flow to just your evolution as a man that. There's sometimes when I'm feeling on a real good one for months and months, and work's going good, and I got abundance with a bunch of chicks, and my friendships are going well, that, man, the more and more my life is kicking ass, the more authentic I feel, that it just naturally comes out of me. But I've noticed that if I stumble a little bit, or money's not going well for me right then, and my girl situation's kind of off, I noticed that if I got to really refocus to like be more authentic, because I can feel my self-esteem take a dip, and then it's like subconscious almost. You're like, is it okay to be authentic and let that rip? But then there's other sides of me. I remember when I was new to all this, where I was like, if I would have heard you say that, I'd have been like, okay, I need to be fucking raw. I need to be authentic. I remember I read, it was a good book, but it really fucked me for a little while. It was, I think David D recommends it. Something about, it's just like that book where you like always tell the truth type book. He's like, always say.
Oh, Radical Honesty. Radical Honesty.
Radical Honesty, yeah.
Fuck that. But that book is retarded. That book is,
it fucked me up. I said a few things where and once again, I probably, if I reread it, could get a new message out of it. But at the time I read it, I was like, okay, here we go.
All right, let's take this fucker out for a spin.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying now, if I'm, when I'm hearing you say that, I'm like, yeah, the Thompson that you've become, you've cultivated.
Well, hold on. I want to interrupt you. What I meant was, what I was saying is, I am like that, and I do that, and I think there's a value in that. But I think, in terms of life, I think like being like really straightforward and honest with yourself, and knowing exactly where you stand, and removing yourself from the highs and the lows, and just being like hyper pragmatic in how you look at the world is useful. But I was more saying that when you're developing this stuff, don't you think that it is? I guess, why don't you tell guys to viciously, vigorously, and eagerly chase the positive self-assessment? Like I feel like delusional. It's not, obviously not long term, right? I'm not saying that this is the way to do it, but I feel like there's real meat on the bone of delusional positive self-assessment, like thinking I'm the shit, I'm amazing. To which I would point Jersey Shore, or like any number of swaggering douchebags. Like, you live in LA, you see this all the time.
Yeah.
Like where it's this sort of image of what you are is radically better. It's not good long term for the soul, and it's not good long term for a relationship. But for guys who are trying to get a handle on what is actionable tonight in terms of game, it seems like having a radically almost diluted self-positive assessment is beneficial. What do you say to that?
Okay, sure. I see that now. I got you. Okay, so here's the deal. As long as here's what I did wrong, and this, I think this will help guys. I used to hear that and like, okay, I got this. So I built this I built that on a really bad foundation of it. Mine was really shaky where I could do that as long as the outside world responded to that. And if they did, it was like throwing gasoline on the fire. Boom, man, I am all these things. But if you leave it up for other people to determine, where I just be like, okay, I mean, I'd really pump myself up, get into state. And then if the first girl reacted well, I felt like fucking Superman. But the first girl reacted bad, second girl reacted bad, somebody didn't laugh at my jokes or whatever, it just all that crumbled because it was built on bullshit, you know? As to where so what you do is, what helped me was to just go, you start building that, like you were saying, almost delusional belief, but it's built on things that no one else can take from you. It's built on it's built on the momentum I've created that's measurable. It's built on things where I'm like, dude, I'm out here doing this. Nobody else, most people don't even have the fucking balls to be here. I'm fucking fearless. I go for what I want, and that's fucking powerful, and that's manly, and I'm the shit because of that, and I'm not fucking scared of anything. Yeah, I feel some fear doing this, but that makes me even more strong that I'm strong enough to do this. Let's go. Hell yeah. You know, most people are living in the days because they don't have the balls to fucking even go for what they want. But you know what? I'm really proud of myself because I always go for what I want, and I don't give a shit. And girls will love that. Right now, so it's like you want to combine with being like kind of delusional with, but also remember that your brain will purge bullshit, and it'll actually make you feel worse if it doesn't believe it. So everything I said so far is actually true. So my brain's gonna go, yeah, okay, that's actually. Yeah, you may be hyping that a little bit, but yeah, okay, I can buy that. Then when I say, but if I'm like, oh, all women fucking love me, I'm the shit, fucking girls want to fuck me, hell yeah, da da da. Well, as soon as you get negative reinforcement for that, that's gonna crumble like a fucking deck of cards, right? Or house made on cards. So then when you say, but if you say, you know what, I am a fucking sleeping giant, and all I got to do is knock the dust off of some of my conversational skills, and then when I can show girls who I already know I am inside, if I can do that verbally, girls are going to fucking be all over my shit. And that, you know what? And I can stumble in and out of that at any night. And I know it's in there. It's not like I got to build this for 5 years. I just got to play with this stuff. It's just a skill set. I'm going to go out and practice tonight. I know if I say the right shit, if I tap into what's already into me, and I've been reading this stuff, I just got to keep practicing because I know like the inner pimp is in there. I just got to channel it. And you know what? It may take me 20 minutes. It may take me fucking 3 hours a night, but I'll find him. And if I don't find him tonight, that's okay because I'm still getting better. Like, yeah. I think as long as you're going in that route, and that, listen, the older you get and the longer you've been playing this game, like I feel like guys like, you know, you and I, Thompson, I can tap into a little more egotistical side. And I don't think ego is necessarily a bad thing. People are always like, the Eckhart Tolle of kill the ego. I think ego is kind of powerful as long as it's grounded in reality, as long as it's grounded in past accomplishment where you're like, I know I can fucking do this. I got reference experiences saying I am a fucking pimp, so watch out. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for being badass, and I feel that. That's different. And then if you take a dip, you're like, so what? I've had 1,000 girls blow me out. I don't give a fuck, and I've always bounced back, and there's a million girls that like me, and there's a million girls that will. Like that's kind of grounded in the ego, but it's a powerful ego, you know, versus being like, at the beginning of your journey, you got to reward you got to reward effort, and you got to reward showing up. I reward, hey, good job for showing up, good job for effort, good job for making progress. You reward progress and effort. The older you get and the longer you've been in this, you just got to reward, like, you don't think accomplishment. I don't think you ever measured off accomplishment, ever. Once you do that, you're fucked, because every time you don't reach that, you're fucked. You know, Thompson and I have been doing this. Thompson's been in this game longer than I have, and we can both tell you that, hey, I don't care. The day you get outcome dependent on this stuff and you think just because you're a pimp, you're going to go out every night and pull some 10 and every girl's going to like you, you're not just delusional. You're going to be in a real unhealthy place.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be real. But let's be real. I know that I know you and I both know that yes, you will be in an unhealthy place. But right. Are you telling me, man to man, like, you don't ever go to that place? Like, oh, you know, yeah. you have. I mean, I know you're the pimp, you know, but I mean, you know, like, you have. I know that I've had gangster, I'm a wizard, holy crap, I'm so glad there are students here nights, but I've also had nights where it's like, oh my god, you know, like, how do I have the audacity to... Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we've all been really clear about that. I don't think any instructor has ever, with our company has been shy about the fact that we've just been, not just embarrassments to Love Systems, but embarrassments to males. As we're learning this stuff sometimes, like I've definitely been the most obnoxious guy at the club. But like, I mean, I find that in my going, just living day to day with, doing it and when I have those off nights, it is a struggle sometimes, man. Like, I don't know, like I feel like yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, I guess to me, part of for beginning advanced, it's like, I guess there's part of it that's like, I watch those 50 Cent videos on your blog. I watch that badass Navy SEAL stuff, like, can't quit, not dead, right? And it's like,
yeah.
I guess that's part of it. Is it's the real thing is it's like you're gonna have those nights where you suck, and you're gonna have those nights where you're gonna have that part in your head that's going like, like, no, just like, whatever, I'm gonna anchor to these positive things. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna still hate yourself, and you're gonna go, but I can't, then I'm not there. No, you're fine. Like, the suck is going to happen, and part of this whole process of being a man is addressing those parts where your brain is kind of fucking with you, and then just like, I feel like running screaming into that pain anyway. You know what this is heavy, abstract, high level stuff, but it's like, courage is how you behave in the face of existing fear. Right? Not having fear is madness. Right. So when you have those feelings of like, I suck, or I'm not good, or whatever, part of it is just like, it's like you said, it's a natural response because your brain will reject bullshit. And I feel like for me, I mean, because I got a rent check on the line, so I've had to have like really hard conversations with myself where like, what are my adaptive mechanisms if I'm having an off night? How do I handle it?
Yeah. God damn. I mean, yeah. Tom's. I mean, I'm with you, dude. My first year as a lead instructor, I probably aged like 3 years. I couldn't sleep at night 2 nights before the boot camp, and then the whole boot camp, I got to where I wasn't having fun because I was so scared of the demos anymore. I went from, as a junior, getting laid 3 nights in a row and being a maniac and doing all this shit. When now all of a sudden your name's on the headline and people are like, oh, I read your blog and I listen to this and I can't wait to watch you tonight. Your asshole puckers up the first year. You gotta really, learn. For the last, that's not a normal thing. That's not human to have that happen. Like very few people in the world can be like, oh, all my life I'd gone out with no camera on me, where I was just kind of like, oh, nobody's watching, Nick. I can do whatever I want. If it goes good or bad, I'm the only one that really knows. And then when you're like, oh, I paid $3,000 to watch you. Yeah. Now I mean, if I don't do too many in a row, I love boot camp. I don't even think like that anymore. I mean, I'm just like, look, guys, I'm human. I'm going to get blown out tonight. But if you watch me enough, something good will happen. And then I expect I'm open about it. I'm like, I always get blown out. If you don't get blown out, you're not trying hard enough.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Like that's I watch videos of like people who are like snide about like somebody getting like, because I've never yet seen, because I wouldn't watch, quite frankly, a full YouTube video of like a full workshop where like 4 or 5, like 7, 8, 9 approaches. What you see is like some dick face watching one set that goes badly, and you go and making an assessment, and you're like, really? Yeah. God, break all cameras. God, really? Oh, like, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, people. And it's frustrating because it's like people make a real assessment of that, and I could sit there and be like, oh well, I don't derive that. Like, I forget who it was. Somebody else in our company said like, oh, I don't derive validation from YouTube comments. Like, I'm not saying you derive validation from it, but it's fucked when you're seeing I feel bad for those guys. Yeah. I feel bad for those guys where it's like some some dickhead sitting on a couch and is like, well, I did it amazing. It's like, yeah, well, you do have the camera, asshole. Anyway.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, and people forget that, like, game is, it's, I don't care how good you are. I mean, we know some of the best dudes in the world. It's just poker, man. I mean, I can, every time I walk up at this level, I say the right shit, stand the right way, and I have good body language, and I fucking my voice, you know, all that's in line. Past that, it's up to her. I can't fucking, there's nothing I can do like that first 10 seconds at this stage to, I mean, I can increase my math and increase my averages, but there is no sniper fire. I mean, people think there are, like, they're delusional, and they're setting themselves up for a lot of pain.
Yeah, one of the most toxic things I ever heard was, I can go 5 for 5. Or, like, you know, giving a... Yeah, I wasn't going to name him, but yeah. Like...
Used to fuck me up. I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. I mean, again, I feel like we're both kind of wind-up toys where we could keep going, you know, on cue. You said...
I'll get more specific. Let me ask you some stuff. What do you think?
Yeah.
If you had a new guy that was going out and he just found he hadn't had a boot camp yet, and he found this stuff and he was really excited, but at the same time it wasn't just approach anxiety, but maybe he'd gone out a few times and he had taken those lumps, and you know how in the beginning, like, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I just got to keep pushing through, but at the beginning, if you have the wrong belief system, like, every one of those lumps feels like another 50-pound boulder that you have to carry on your back, and you can keep walking, but if you get your one, something either clicks. Either guys don't have this click and they give up, or they have this click and it still hurts, but it's like pebbles on your back versus like stones. What do you think some of the shifts in mindsets, because the lumps have to come. When you're at the beginning of this, you're going to have to go out and get blown out. You have to accept that. But what are the mindset shifts? What are a couple of the mindset shifts you can make to make it not hurt so goddamn bad?
I guess one of them is I mean, I've almost, like, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I feel like you teed it up for me, because I literally, like, part of my, a big part of what I do now is I just have this stuff that, like, I try to anticipate this. So I literally have a blog series about this exact thing. So my Big 10 is specifically dedicated to this, where the whole point is, like, the very first thing I tell students is